News coming in the IT space as well, because Mindtree has cut its second quarter guidance, and Kritika Saxena is here with all the details. Tell us, Kritika.
Absolutely, Nisha. It's, perhaps the first victim of the IT volatility. We've been expecting IT players to start cutting guidance, and this is the first example. I reckon that we will see more. So what they have said today is that margins will be lower than planned, with the EBITDA margin falling in Q2. So the reason for this essentially is that the first half of the year has been slower than they anticipated. So the impact that they were expecting on EBITDA margin is higher than what they had anticipated. In fact, the beginning of August, they had said that they're reiterating their EBITDA margins, they're reiterating their stance on FY17 growth. In fact, we have the MD and CEO of Mindtree with us. So let's just go across to him directly. Thank you so much for joining in. My first question to you is, you've pointed out that margins will be lower with EBITDA margin falling in Q2. What is the band that you're looking at now then?
I don't think they're declaring a band at the moment. If you sort of zoom out for a second, I think the announcement says the revenue in growth in Q2 will be weak. It'll probably be first time after, I think, 5 or 6 years when we'll have a slight decline in revenues in Q2 compared to Q1. And we've not had a sequential quarterly decline for many years now. So to that extent, it's something that's relatively unusual for us, which is why we wanted to pass on that news to the market as quickly as possible. Coming to the margins, the biggest impact was obviously because of the revenue slowdown, and that's what is impacting the margin. However, the fundamental positioning for Mindtree, the confidence in our clients, continue to be very, very strong, both for the specialized digital kind of services as well as the differentiated way in which we deliver some of the traditional services as well. So I would see this as in a way, like a slippage of a few things from Q2 to the second half of the year. We continue to be confident that the full year will still be a strong year for Mindtree. We will meet the NASSCOM industry estimates for this year. And when the revenue momentum comes back, profitability in the second half of the year will also be better than the first half of the year.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that, sir, because for FY17, in that case, are you assuming that by Q3, Q4, you're expecting revenue to kick in by the second half of the year in terms of more clients or the ramp-ups being faster now?
Exactly. So the delays and ramp-ups in a few projects or delays in contract closures, etc., should get done within the next, I would say, 1 to 2 months. And therefore, the second half of the year should be a much more stronger year for Mindtree.
Okay, can you quantify? So you have pointed out that there are cost-saving measures that have helped you regain some of the lost market share. Exactly how much would that be in terms of margins?
So some of those are still being worked out. Details will obviously share when we announce the Q2 results in October. But given the fact that there are sort of revenue uncertainties or revenue volatility, if I were to call it that, we are looking at the costs as well, whether it's people costs, whether it's other form of discretionary costs, etc. So we are carefully looking at that as well and cutting the quote according to the clock for some of our costs.
Okay, so Rostow wanted to also understand that you have given one of the reasons for your guidance cut to be project cancellations. So could you throw more light on that about the cancellations? Is it just right now, and what are the reasons of these project cancellations? Could these be really recurring in nature as well?
Unlikely as of now, based on whatever we know to be a recurring issue. I think the question was in 1 or 2 client cases, given the kind of macroeconomic, political kind of uncertainties, people are either cancelling some programs or delaying decisions on some programs. But I think the moment, for example, the U.S. political issues get resolved, a little more clarity on the European macroeconomic situation emerges, that demand will come back. However, the question in this quarter was just the impact for the quarter. Some of the wins that we have in the pipeline, for example, are very, very strong. I think our deal pipeline is amongst the strongest we have seen in the last 3 or 4 years. So just a question, therefore, of some slippage from Q2 to the second half of the year.
Okay, very quickly, Rostow, exactly how many projects have been cancelled in that case? And can you break up, I understand you can't give me a margin brand, but can you break up the impact? You've laid out 3 different areas: cross-currency issues, project cancellation, as well as delays. So can you break up the impact in that case on numbers?
Not possible to do that right now, mainly because, like I said, we need to still end one more month and some of these can also swing either forward or backward even now. So the point is to, given the fact that there was an assessment and the assessment has changed the picture which we gave in July, so the communication was more in the interest of transparency and keeping markets updated.
Okay, but how many cancellations, how many projects have been cancelled this quarter?
A few.
Okay. Would that be just about one or two?
Yeah,
more
it's a
than
few.
that. Okay. Fair
All
enough.
right, Rostow. Thanks so much. Thanks, Kritika, for joining us with that quick update.